Listen closely. I want to tell you something that is very true. Something that will change the way you see marriage and love forever. There is a saying that every old person in the village knows. They whisper it by the fire at night. They tell it to young men before they marry. It goes like this. If you don't love your wife, your neighbor will love her. Your friends will love her. Your business partners will love her. This is not just words. This is a warning. This is a story that happened in a compound not far from here. The compound looked beautiful from outside. The walls were painted white. There was a big gate. There were many rooms. Everything looked perfect. But inside that compound, something was dying. Something was breaking. The people who walked past never knew. They saw the wealth. They saw the cars. They saw the man who lived there walking around like a king. But they did not see the woman who lived in that house. She was there. But nobody really saw her. Not even her own husband. This story will teach you something very important. It will show you what happens when a man forgets that a wife is not a decoration. A wife is a human being. A wife has a heart. And when that heart breaks, the whole world will try to fix it. Are you ready to hear what happened? If you're watching this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments where you're watching my folktale story from. I want to know how far it has traveled. The man in this story was named Kolod. His name meant prosperity in the old language. And he was prosperous. Very prosperous. His father had left him money and land. But Kolod was not satisfied with just his father's wealth. No. He wanted to prove that he could build his own fortune. He wanted people to say his name with respect. So he worked. He bought businesses. He bought buildings. He bought more land. Every year, his money grew bigger. Every year, people bowed lower when they saw him. He became someone important. He became someone powerful. But something happened inside Kolod's heart as he became rich. Pride grew there. Big pride. The kind of pride that makes a man believe he can do anything. The kind of pride that makes a man forget about other people's feelings. Kolod began to see himself as special. Different from other men. He believed that because he had money, the rules did not apply to him. He believed that because he was powerful, he did not have to follow the same laws as regular people. When people told him to be careful, he laughed. When elders warned him, he did not listen. Kolod was a man who believed the world should bend to him. He did not think he should bend to anyone. And this pride, this terrible pride, it made him blind. It made him see his wife as something he owned, like a car or a house. Not as a person. Not as someone who could feel pain. Not as someone who could break. This is the kind of man Kolod was when our story begins. Now, there was a woman. Her name was Zainab. She was beautiful, yes. But that was not the most important thing about her. What made her special was her spirit. She was kind. She was loyal. She was patient. Zainab came from a good family, but not a rich family. Her parents taught her that being a wife was an honor. They taught her that marriage was sacred. They told her that if she married a man, she should work to make him happy every day of her life. So when Kolod asked her to marry him, Zainab said yes. She was happy. She thought she would spend her life with a man who would grow to love her more and more. On their wedding day, she wore white cloth that covered her body like a cloud. Her hair was braided with gold. She was smiling. She had hope in her eyes. She believed that her life was beginning. Kolod looked at her that day and thought she was beautiful. He thought she would make a good wife. She would have his children. She would manage his home. She would be quiet and obedient. That is what he wanted from a wife. What Kolod did not know was that Zainab wanted something different. She wanted her husband to love her. Not just marry her. Love her. She wanted him to hold her. To talk to her. To make her feel like she was important to him. But Kolod did not understand this. In his mind, providing food and shelter was enough. Providing money was enough. He did not understand that a woman's heart needs more than money. A woman's heart needs attention. A woman's heart needs love. This was the biggest problem of their marriage. After the wedding, the first year was not so bad. Kolod was still building his fortune, so he was busy. But he would come home. He would eat dinner with Zainab. Sometimes he would sit with her while she did her work. But as his wealth grew, he grew busier. He was always at his office. He was always meeting with important people. He was always making deals that would make him richer. And then something changed. Kolod started staying out at night. He would tell Zainab he had business to do. He would tell her not to wait for him. He would not come home until very late. He would not even look at her. Zainab did not understand at first. She thought maybe he was stressed. She thought maybe the business was not going well. She tried to be understanding. She tried to wait. She cooked his favorite foods. She cleaned the house. She tried to be the perfect wife. But the nights without him turned into weeks. The weeks turned into months. And Zainab began to realize the truth. Her husband did not want to be near her. He did not miss her when he was gone. He did not care about her at all. She would lie in their bed at night, alone, waiting for him. The house was big and empty. The bed was cold. She could hear sounds in the darkness, and she would think it was him coming home. But it never was. One night, Zainab cried. She cried alone in the dark. Her tears fell on the pillow. And she asked herself a question that broke her heart. Did my husband ever love me at all? 3 months passed. Then 6 months. Then a whole year. Zainab was still beautiful on the outside. She still wore nice clothes. She still cared for the house. But something inside her was changing. Something was dying slowly. She was becoming like a flower that has no water. She was still standing. But she was losing her color. She was losing her strength. People in the compound began to notice. The servants whispered to each other. The gardener mentioned it to his wife. The neighbors saw her sitting alone in the yard, staring at nothing. Where is Zainab's smile? They asked each other. Why does she look so sad? Why does the wife of such a rich man look like she's suffering? But nobody asked Zainab directly. People were afraid of Kolod. They did not want to make trouble. So they just watched and whispered. Zainab's parents came to visit one day. When her mother saw her daughter, she understood immediately. She took Zainab into a private room and asked her quietly, "Is your husband hurting you?" Zainab shook her head. "No. He is not hurting me. He is not doing anything to me at all. That is the problem. He is not doing anything. He is not there." Her mother sat down heavily. She understood. She had heard stories like this before. Stories of marriages that looked good on the outside but were empty inside. "What will you do?" her mother asked. Zainab did not know. What could she do? She was a wife. She was supposed to be patient. She was supposed to wait. She was supposed to hope that one day, her husband would come back to her. But deep inside, Zainab was beginning to understand something. Hope was not enough. Love is not something that grows all by itself. Love needs to be fed. It needs attention. It needs care. And her husband was not feeding their love. He was starving it to death. She did not know it yet, but this starvation was about to open the door to something dangerous. It was a Tuesday morning when the neighbor, a man named Darius, first noticed Zainab properly. He had seen her before, of course. He lived next door. But he had never really looked at her until that day. She was watering the flowers in front of the house. Her clothes were simple. Her hair was tied back. She was alone. And when she thought nobody was watching, her face was very sad. Darius was a kind man. He was not as rich as Kolod, but he was comfortable. He had a good heart. And when he saw Zainab's sadness, something moved inside him. He wanted to help her. He wanted to make her smile again. "Good morning," he said, coming closer to the fence that separated their compounds. Zainab looked up, surprised. She had not heard him coming. She gave a small smile. "Good morning. Your flowers are beautiful," Darius said. It was a simple compliment. But the way he said it made Zainab feel like someone actually saw her. Like someone was actually looking at her. "Thank you," she said softly. "I like to take care of them." Every day after that, Darius would find a reason to be near the fence. He would wave. He would ask how she was. He would bring her fruit from his garden. Just small things. Nothing wrong. But each time, he would look at her with attention. He would listen when she spoke. He would notice when she was sad. Zainab began to look forward to these moments. They were short. They were innocent. But they made her feel alive again. They made her feel like she was still a person who mattered. Kolod never noticed. He was too busy with his business, his wealth, and his other women. But Darius noticed. And slowly, his kindness began to grow into something more dangerous. One day, Kolod's best friend, a man named Sigan, came to the house. Sigan had known Kolod since they were children. They built their fortunes together. They were like brothers. When Sigan arrived, Zainab served him tea. She did this because it was her job as a wife. But something was different that day. Maybe it was because Sigan actually thanked her. Maybe it was because he looked at her like she was real. Maybe it was because he asked how she was doing. "I am fine," Zainab said. But her voice was quiet. And Sigan understood that she was not fine at all. After that day, when Sigan visited, he would make it a point to talk to Zainab. He would ask about her day. He would listen to her answers. He would bring her gifts. Nothing expensive. Just things like books or flowers or nice tea. Kolod was always in his office when Sigan came. He never saw his friend talking to his wife. He never noticed the way Sigan's eyes would linger on Zainab's face. He never saw her smile for the first time in months. But other people saw. The servants saw. The other friends began to notice. They began to whisper. "Sigan is spending a lot of time with Kolod's wife. Have you seen the way he looks at her? This is not good. This is trouble." Zainab did not want any of this. She did not ask for Sigan's attention. She did not ask for his kindness. But she was so hungry for someone to care about her that she accepted it. She welcomed it. She needed it. Love, when it is ignored, becomes desperate. And desperate people make dangerous choices. The market was where everyone gathered. It was where news traveled faster than the wind. And now, everyone was talking about Kolod's wife and the two men who were fighting for her attention. "Did you see Darius bring flowers to Zainab's house yesterday? I heard Sigan gave her expensive cloth." The neighbors said they laughed together by the fence. What kind of wife accepts gifts from other men? What kind of friend does this to his brother? The rumors grew. They twisted. They became bigger than the truth. Soon, people were saying things that were not even true. They were creating stories. They were imagining things. Zainab heard the whispers in the market. She felt people looking at her strangely. Some women would not greet her. Some men would laugh when she passed. The shame began to burn her face. But the shame was not because she had done anything wrong. The shame was because she was lonely. The shame was because her own husband had abandoned her. The shame was because she was hungry for love. She tried to avoid Darius. She tried to stay away from Sigan. But they kept coming. They kept showing her attention. And every time they did, more people talked. More rumors spread. Zainab felt trapped. On one side was her husband, who did not love her. On the other side was a village that was judging her. And in the middle were two men who wanted her, each for their own reasons. She did not know it yet, but things were about to become much worse. One afternoon, Zainab walked to the river. The river was far from the compound. She wanted to be alone. She wanted to get away from the whispers. She wanted to cry where nobody could hear her. She sat on a rock by the water. The river was flowing softly. The sun was beginning to set. The sky was turning orange and pink. It was beautiful. But Zainab could not feel the beauty. She could only feel the pain. She cried. She cried hard. She cried for the love she had lost. She cried for the marriage that was broken. She cried for herself, for being so weak, for needing someone so badly. Why, she asked the river. Why am I not enough for my husband? What is wrong with me? She cried until her body was tired. Until there were no more tears left. Then she heard a voice behind her. A soft, old voice. A woman's tears are powerful things, the voice said. Zainab turned around, startled. An old man was standing there. She had never seen him before. He was wearing simple clothes. His hair was white like clouds. His eyes were very calm and very wise. I did not hear you come, Zainab said. I was here all along, the old man said. Some people just do not notice old men. They are too busy noticing other things. He sat down on a rock near her. He did not ask her questions. He did not try to comfort her with empty words. He just sat there. And somehow, his silence was comforting. After a long time, he spoke again. A woman unloved becomes a test sent to many men, he said quietly. The heavens put her there to see who will treat her with respect. And who will try to use her pain. Zainab did not fully understand these words. But she felt that they were true. She felt that this old man saw something that others could not see. Who are you? Zainab asked the old man. He smiled a little. I am someone who has seen many stories like yours. I am someone who understands the laws of the heart and the laws of destiny. Can you help me? Zainab asked. Can you tell me what will happen? The old man looked at the river for a long time. Then he said, I can tell you this. Love that is ignored does not disappear. It only changes hands. Your husband has refused to love you. So the world will love you instead. And that love will bring him pain. I do not want to hurt him, Zainab said. It is not about what you want anymore, the old man said. It is about what is right. Your husband made a choice. Now destiny will make its own choice. He stood up slowly. Go home. Do not run from what is coming. Face it with your head high. You have done nothing wrong by needing to be loved. And then he walked away. He disappeared into the darkness like he was never there at all. Zainab sat alone by the river. The words stayed with her. Love that is ignored only changes hands. She did not know that these words would become true in ways she could never imagine. She did not know that her life was about to explode. Sigen came to visit Kolod one evening. This time, it was different. He came with a purpose. He sat with Kolod in the office and talked about business. But his mind was not on business. His mind was on Zainab. After an hour, Kolod left the office to take a phone call. And Sigen went to find Zainab. She was in the garden, alone. She was sitting on a bench, reading a book. The light was fading from the sky. Sigen sat down beside her. Very close. Not touching, but close enough that she could feel his presence. Zainab, he said softly. I need to tell you something. Zainab's heart began to beat fast. She knew what was coming. She had known for weeks. I care about you, Sigen said. I care about you more than I should. More than is right. But I cannot help it. You are alone. And I see you. I see your pain. And I want to take away that pain. Zainab did not speak. She could not speak. She was confused. She was afraid. She was also grateful. Grateful that someone wanted her. If you were not married to him, I would ask you to marry me instead, Sigen said. I would love you every day. I would never leave you alone. Tears came to Zainab's eyes. Not tears of sadness. But tears of something else. Longing. Desperation. The hunger of someone who has been starved for too long. Do not say these things, she whispered. Why not? They are true, Sigen said. And then he reached out and held her hand. It was the first time a man had held her hand with love since she married Kolod. Zainab wanted to pull away. But she did not. She let him hold her hand. And in that moment, she understood the danger she was in. The door was opening. And she was too weak to close it. Kolod was counting money in his office. Stacks of bills lay on the desk in front of him. This was his happiness. This was what made him feel alive. Money. Power. Control. His wife was somewhere in the house. He did not know where. He did not care. He had stopped caring about Zainab years ago. Or maybe he never really cared at all. He only knew one thing. As long as she was there, she was his. As long as she was his wife, she belonged to him. Like a possession. Like property. The idea that she might be unhappy never entered his mind. The idea that she might need something from him never occurred to him. He believed that he had given her everything. A home. Money. Security. What more could a woman want? This is the blindness of pride. This is what happens when a man loves himself so much that he cannot love anyone else. Kolod had no idea what was happening in his garden. He had no idea that his best friend was holding his wife's hand. He had no idea that the love he had refused to give was now being offered by someone else. He was blind. Completely blind. And the worst part is, he did not even know he was blind. He thought he could see everything. He thought he controlled everything. He thought nothing could happen in his house without his permission. But life does not work that way. Destiny does not need permission. And love, when it is hungry enough, will find its way in, no matter how many locks you put on the doors. Now there were two men. Both of them wanted Zainab. Both of them believed they could love her better than her own husband. And neither of them cared anymore about being her friend. They cared about winning her. Darius began to visit more often. He would find reasons to be near her. He would bring gifts. Expensive gifts now. Not just fruit. Real jewels. Real cloth. Sigen, when he heard about this, became angry. He began to visit more often too. He would stay longer. He would sit closer to her. He would touch her more. The two men began to compete. Silently. Carefully. But it was a real competition. And Zainab was the prize. Other men began to notice too. Kolod's business partners. Wealthy men who had never paid attention to Zainab before. But now they saw her differently. They saw a woman whose husband did not love her. A woman who was beautiful and lonely. A woman who might be available. So they joined the competition too. There were flowers left at her door. Notes written in beautiful handwriting. Gifts wrapped in expensive paper. The compound was becoming like a hunting ground. And Zainab was the hunted. But here is the strange thing. Zainab did not feel haunted. She felt seen. She felt wanted. She felt alive for the first time in so long. This was the most dangerous moment. Because when someone is desperate for love, they will accept anything. They will ignore danger. They will make choices they will regret. And the men knew this. They were using her loneliness against her. They were using her pain to get what they wanted. One day, Kolod came home early. He had an unexpected free afternoon. And when he arrived at his compound, he saw the flowers. He saw the notes. He saw the evidence of everything that had been happening. His face became red with anger. The anger was so big that his whole body began to shake. He called Zainab into the living room. His voice was cold. His eyes were cold. "What is this?" he demanded, pointing at the flowers, the gifts, the notes. Zainab's heart stopped. She had known this day would come. But she was not ready. "They are just gifts," she said softly. "From whom?" he shouted. "From friends," she said. Kolod stood up. His face was purple with rage. "You are a disgrace," he said. "You are my wife. And you have been accepting gifts from other men. You have been making the family name a joke." He did not ask her if anything had happened. He did not ask her why she had needed these gifts. He did not try to understand her loneliness. He just saw betrayal. He just saw disrespect to his pride. "I have given you everything," he said. "And this is how you repay me." "You have given me nothing," Zainab said. Her voice was small, but it was clear. "You have given me a house, yes. But you have not given me love. You have not given me attention. You have given me loneliness." Kolod's hand moved so fast that nobody saw it coming. He hit her across the face. The sound was loud. The pain was sharp. Zainab fell to the ground. She held her face. And she realized something. Her husband had shown more passion in his anger than he had shown in the entire marriage. "Pack your things," Kolod said. "You are no longer welcome in my house." And then he walked out, slamming the door behind him. That night, the old man appeared by Zainab's window. She was packing her things. She was crying. She did not know where she would go. "Do you see now?" the old man asked gently. "Do you understand what I meant?" "He hit me," Zainab said. "He has never even touched me before. And now he hits me. Because his pride is hurt," the old man said. "Not because he loves you. He is angry because other men want what he owns. He would never hit you if he truly loved you. Love does not hit. Love does not hurt." Zainab nodded. She understood. She had always understood. But it was hard to accept. "What happens now?" she asked. The old man sat down. He looked very serious. "Now, his word will break. Because a man who does not love his wife will lose everything. That is the law of destiny. Love ignored does not disappear. It becomes anger. It becomes regret. It becomes the breaking of all things." "I do not want his word to break," Zainab said. You cannot stop it now, the old man said. You tried to be patient. You tried to wait. But he chose not to love you. So destiny chose for him. This is his punishment for his pride. The old man stood to leave. Listen to me, child. Do not accept any of the men who are waiting outside. Not Sigan. Not Darius. Not the business partners. Not any of them. They want you because you are lonely. They want you because you are broken. But none of them truly love you. They love the idea of you. They love the fact that you have been abandoned. Then what should I do? Zainab asked. Find yourself first, the old man said. Then, when you are whole, real love will come. And he disappeared into the night. The next morning, Zainab asked Kolod to meet her in the sitting room. She had spent the whole night thinking. And she had made a decision. Kolod came, still angry. But something in his face showed surprise when he saw her. She was sitting very straight. Her head was high. She was not crying anymore. I have something to tell you, Zainab said. Her voice was calm. Kolod waited. Everything you said last night was true, she said. I was wrong to accept gifts from other men. I was wrong to let them hold my hand. I was wrong to let their kindness fill the space where your love should have been. Kolod's face became less angry. Maybe he thought she was apologizing. Maybe he thought she was begging him to take her back. But she continued. But you were also wrong, she said. You were wrong to marry me if you did not intend to love me. You were wrong to take my youth, my beauty, my loyalty, and give nothing in return. You were wrong to treat me like a possession instead of a person. Kolod tried to speak, but she held up her hand. For 1 year, I suffered alone in this house. No one was coming to my door then. No one was bringing me gifts. It was only when I started to break that people noticed me. It was only my pain that made me valuable to other men. She stood up. She was very tall now. Her voice was very strong. I am leaving, she said. Not because you told me to. But because I choose to. I am taking nothing from this house. No money. No gifts. Nothing. Because I want to know that whatever I build from now on, I built with my own hands. Kolod felt something shift inside him. For the first time, he realized that Zainab was not just his wife. She was a human being. A person with thoughts and feelings and choices. But it was too late. Kolod tried to stop her from leaving. He told her he would change. He said he would be a better husband. He begged her to stay. But these were just words. Words born from panic. Words born from the fear of losing his possession. Not words born from love. Zainab listened to all of it. And then she left. She went to stay with her mother. The whole town watched as the rich man's wife walked out of his house with only a small bag of clothes. Kolod was ashamed. His pride was wounded. And now he did what proud men always do. He made it worse. He went to Sigan's house and accused him of trying to steal his wife. He went to Darius's house and said the same thing. He told everyone in the town that his wife had run away with another man. None of this was true. But Kolod did not care about truth. He only cared about his pride. He only cared about making sure that everyone knew that it was not his fault. That he was the victim. That his wife had betrayed him. But here is what happened. The more he complained, the more people began to ask questions. The more he blamed others, the more people began to see the truth. They began to remember how sad Zainab always looked. They began to remember how she sat alone in the garden every day. They began to realize that Kolod had been ignoring his wife for years. And the sympathy that had belonged to Kolod began to shift. It began to move toward Zainab. Pride, when it tries to defend itself, often reveals itself for what it really is. Empty. Selfish. Wrong. The elders of the town called for a meeting. They wanted to hear both sides of the story. Kolod came. Zainab came. Everyone in the town was there. Kolod spoke first. He told them that his wife was unfaithful. He told them that she had shamed him. He told them that she had left him for another man. Then Zainab spoke. She told them the truth. About the year of loneliness. About the nights she waited alone. About how her own husband did not want to be near her. About how she had started to accept attention from other men not because she wanted to betray him, but because she was starving for love. When Zainab finished speaking, there was silence in the room. A heavy silence. The kind of silence that means everyone is understanding something important for the first time. One elder stood up. He was very old. His name was Chief Okonkwo. Kolod, the chief said, "You have been living in this town for many years. We have watched you build your wealth. We have admired your business. But today, we see something different. We see a man who has forgotten what it means to be human." He turned to the crowd. "This woman did nothing wrong," he said. "She did what any person does when they are hungry. She looked for food. When her own husband would not give her love, she looked for it elsewhere. This is not betrayal. This is survival." The crowd murmured in agreement. "But Kolod," the chief continued, "you have betrayed her. You have betrayed your marriage. You have betrayed the promise you made when you took her hand." Kolod felt the shame burn in his face. And the terrible part is, this shame was real. Not the shame of being seen as weak, but the shame of actually being wrong. After the meeting, Kolod returned to his house alone. It was empty now. Completely empty. Not just of Zainab's physical presence, but of everything that had made it a home. He walked through the rooms. The sitting room where they used to eat together. The garden where she used to sit alone. The bedroom where she had cried every night. And he began to understand. Really understand. Not with his pride, but with his heart. He had destroyed something precious. He had taken a woman who loved him and turned her into a stranger. He had had the love of a good person, and he had refused it. And now it was too late. He tried to see Zainab. He went to her mother's house. But Zainab would not see him. He sent her messages. She did not respond. He sent her money. She sent it back. The separation became complete. Kolod lived in a house that was no longer a home. And Zainab lived with her mother, slowly beginning to heal. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And nothing changed. The silence between them became like a wall. A wall too high to climb. Kolod became a different man. Not in a good way. He became lonely. He became cold. He became the thing he had always been, but now he could see it. Now he could feel it. His wealth did not matter anymore. His business did not matter. His pride did not matter. Because he was alone. And loneliness is the worst poverty of all. Zainab did something different. She did not sit and wait for life to happen to her. She did not wait for a man to save her. She did something extraordinary. She went to school. At her age, many people said it was foolish. But she did it anyway. She worked as a teacher's assistant while she studied. She learned to read better. She learned numbers. She learned skills. After a year, she got a job at the school. She became a teacher. She helped children learn to read. She helped them believe in themselves. She helped them become strong people. And something beautiful happened. Zainab became whole. Not because a man loved her, but because she loved herself. Because she took her own life in her hands and built something with it. The men who had wanted her, Sigan and Darius and the business partners, they began to disappear. They realized that Zainab was not broken anymore. She was not lonely anymore. She did not need them. And Zainab realized something too. The love they had offered was not real love. Real love wants the other person to be happy and whole. It does not feed on loneliness. It does not grow in pain. She made new friends. Good friends. Other women who were also learning and growing. She became stronger every day. And the most amazing thing is, her face became beautiful again. Not the beauty she had before. But a different kind of beauty. The beauty of someone who has survived. The beauty of someone who has chosen herself. Kolod lost everything. Not his money. But everything that mattered. His business partners left him because his reputation was damaged. His friends stopped visiting because they were ashamed of him. His family was ashamed. He lived in his big house with all his wealth, but he had no one to share it with. He ate alone. He slept alone. He woke up alone. Every morning, he would see Zainab in the town. She would be walking to work, smiling, talking with friends. She looked happy. She looked alive. She looked free. And Kolod understood something that he had never understood before. You can have all the money in the world. But if you do not have love, you have nothing. If you are alone, wealth is just an empty thing. It is like holding air in your hands. You think it is something, but it is nothing. He became a sad man. A lonely man. A man whose pride had turned into a prison. One day, Kolod saw Zainab at the market. She was buying cloth. She was laughing with another teacher. They were talking about a story they had read together. Kolod wanted to go to her. He wanted to say sorry. He wanted to ask if she could forgive him. But when he saw her smile, he knew. It was too late. She had moved on. The Zainab he had known was gone. In her place was someone new. Someone stronger. Someone who did not need him. Kolod went home and locked himself in his room. He cried. Really cried. Not tears of anger. But tears of regret. Tears of understanding something too late. He thought about the elders' words. Love ignored does not disappear. It only changes hands. It was true. Zainab's love had changed hands. It now belonged to herself. To her students. To her friends. To her life. But it no longer belonged to him. And it never would again. He tried to reach out to her one more time. He wrote her a letter. A long letter. Saying how sorry he was. Saying how much he regretted everything. Asking if she could forgive him. Zainab read the letter. She felt pity for him. But pity is not love. And forgiveness is not the same as going back. She wrote back to him. She said, Kolod, I forgive you. Not because you have changed. But because I have changed. I have learned that holding anger is like drinking poison. It only hurts me. So I let it go. But forgiveness does not mean I will come back. I have learned to love myself now. And I will never stop. I will never again accept being treated as less than I am worth. I wish you happiness. I truly do. But I cannot be part of your life anymore. You had your chance. And you threw it away. Go and learn what I have learned. Learn to love yourself. Then maybe you can love someone else. But that will take time. And I cannot wait for you. Years passed. Zainab became a principal of the school. She was respected. She was happy. She helped many young women find their own strength. One day, a young woman came to her. The woman was unhappy in her marriage. She felt alone. She felt neglected. Zainab took her to the river. And there, By the water, under the trees, she told her the whole story. The story of her marriage. The story of her loneliness. The story of how she had learned to save herself. Do not wait too long, Zainab told her. Do not hope that he will change. Do not believe that if you just try harder, he will love you. Some people are not capable of love. And it is not your fault. You cannot fix a person who does not want to be fixed. The young woman listened. And she understood. She left her husband. She went back to school. She became a nurse. And she became happy. This happened again and again. Many women came to Zainab for help. And Zainab helped them. Not with money. But with something more valuable. With truth. With understanding. With hope. Zainab's life became full. Full of meaning. Full of purpose. Full of love. Not the love of a husband. But the love of a full life. The love that comes from knowing you have helped others. From knowing you are strong. The old man came back one last time. He appeared in Zainab's home late one evening. You have learned, he said simply. Learned what? Zainab asked. That love is not something you receive from another person, he said. Love is something you create. With yourself. With others. With the world. When you try to receive love from someone who cannot give it, you become broken. But when you learn to give love to yourself first, everything changes. He smiled. It was a sad smile. A wise smile. And Kolod. Zainab asked. Will he ever learn? Some people learn, the old man said. And some people go to their grave never understanding. It depends on whether they can accept that they were wrong. Not many men can accept this. Pride is a powerful thing. It is stronger than love for most people. He lived until he was an old man. He never married again. He never found love again. He had his money and his house and his pride. But he did not have happiness. He would walk through the market and see Zainab, now a respected woman, surrounded by people who loved her. And he would see the life he had destroyed. And he would remember. But remembering is not the same as changing. And regret, at the end of a life, is too late. Zainab, on the other hand, lived a full life. She did not become rich. But she became wealthy in spirit. She helped hundreds of people. She loved and was loved. She became someone who mattered. And here is the moral of this story. The moral that I want to burn into your mind. If you don't love your wife, your neighbor will love her. Your friends will love her. Your business partners will love her. Love ignored does not disappear. It only changes hands. But also remember this, love is a responsibility, not a trophy. A wife is not something you own. A wife is a person. A human being with feelings and thoughts and needs. When you take a wife, you are making a promise. Not just to her. But to yourself. To be better. To be kinder. To be more loving. And if you cannot make that promise, then do not take a wife. Because refusing to love someone is the cruelest thing a person can do. It is slow poison. It is death by 1,000 small wounds. Love is the only thing in this world that grows when you give it away. Love is the only thing that makes life worth living. And love ignored is the saddest waste of all. The story you have just heard is a beautiful African tale I heard long ago. I am telling you to wake your mind to this simple truth, love is not something you pay for with money. Love is something you give with your heart. And a heart that refuses to give love will become empty. Empty and cold and alone forever. If you have a wife, love her. If you have a husband, love him. If you have a friend, love them. If you have a child, love them. Because that is the only wealth that matters. Thank you for listening to my story. Please like, subscribe, and share this tale with everyone you love. Because everyone needs to hear this message. Everyone needs to understand. Before it is too late.